Hello, boys and girls. I just wanted to make this video to help you out a little bit with our first weekly assessment. So you should have already watched Mrs. McKelvey's video about how to get into Wonders and about how to work on the weekly assessment. I just wanted to give you a little additional information on how to do the writing portion. It can be kind of intimidating, and this is our very first one, so I wanted to help you out and show you kind of a process to follow to do it and kind of what I'm expecting. Okay, and I understand this is the very first one and this is beginning of third grade, and we are going to get really good at this by the end of third grade. So we're going to have lots and lots of practice. So first thing I'm going to share with you is a graphic organizer that is attached, so you have a copy for yourself. And let's see if I can do that. Okay, so you should have a graphic organizer that looks similar but does not have all these boxes in it. And I'm going to make this a little bigger so we can see it. Okay, so a graphic organizer is just a way to help you get your ideas down on paper before you write your final draft. So this one is helping you to organize how you're going to write your paragraph, comparing how Nina and Jaden are alike at the beginning of the passages and how they are alike at the end. Okay, so the first thing you need when you write a paragraph is an introduction sentence. So we are going to try to come up with a sentence that tells us what our paragraph is about. So the best way to do that is usually to kind of restate the question, because you're answering this question. So if you introduce it by saying, hey, here's the question I'm answering, then people know what to expect. So one way to do that is to restate the question. So let me scoot this over a little bit. Okay, so I wrote Nina from the story Singing Out and Jaden from the story New Kid in School are alike in some ways. So it asked how they were alike at the beginning and how they are alike at the end. So my introductory sentence is telling my reader, Nina from the story Singing Out and Jaden from the story New Kid in School are alike in some ways. So my reader knows to expect a paragraph talking about how these two characters are alike. Let's get rid of this one. Okay. And then the next thing I'm going to talk about is Nina. I'm going to have a paragraph just about Nina, and then I'll have a paragraph just about Jaden. So this is how Nina feels at the beginning. Okay, so Nina feels nervous at the beginning of the story. Remember, she said she was nervous because she didn't like to sing in front of people. So Nina feels nervous at the beginning of the story. And I need to think about, how does Nina feel at the end of the story? We'll get there. Okay, so Nina felt relieved and happy at the end of the story, and maybe even proud of herself because she did something she didn't think she could do. Okay, then Nina learned something. So she changed from the beginning of the story to the end of the story because she learned something. So what did Nina learn? Nina learned that it wasn't so bad singing in front of people after all. And then I want to use some text evidence to show that I'm not just making this stuff up. This stuff was in the story. Remember, we said the answers are always in the story. So I'm going to think about, what kind of text evidence could I use? Oops. All right, so I erased that. Let's undo that. Maybe I didn't include that. All right, well then we'll have to look for some. So I should have a text box in here so that I can write something. Okay, so my text evidence might be at the end of the paragraph. I don't have the story right in front of me, but Nina says, that singing in front of people is not so bad after all. Okay, and I would probably quote this exactly. So let me get the story. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, the end of the story it says, and then I'm going to quote, it says, Nina let out a big sigh and smiled happily. Singing in front of people wasn't so bad after all. Okay, so now I have my evidence or my proof that this is the lesson she learned. So at the end of the story, it says Nina let out a big sigh and smiled happily. Singing in front of people wasn't so bad after all. So I'm going to use this when I write my paragraph about Nina. Okay, my next paragraph is going to be about Jaden. So we're going to answer the same questions: how Jaden feels at the beginning, how Jaden feels at the end, what Jaden learned, text evidence, and then we're going to write a concluding sentence. So our concluding sentence is a lot like our introduction sentence, just kind of reworded. Okay, so the introduction sentence, we're telling our readers, here's what we're going to talk about. In our conclusion sentence, we make it an ending and we kind of tell our readers, okay, here's what I said, this is what you should have got out of this. Okay, so we're going to move this one. So a possible concluding sentences is, I'm sure you can see that Nina and Jaden both made important positive changes at the end of each story, because we were talking about how they were alike in the beginning and then how they were alike at the end. And these are all just examples of things you can write. There's lots of other things that you could use, but these were just the things that I came up with at first. So that is how to use the graphic organizer. And there's going to be one more video where I'm going to show you how to take the things we wrote on the graphic organizer and turn them into a paragraph. Okay, so this is just showing you how to use the graphic organizer. You are welcome to use the things that I wrote or write your own for Nina, and then you are going to write your own for Jaden. All right. Come back to you. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful in showing you how to use that graphic organizer. And remember that this is our first time, so I'm doing some of it for you and helping you out. And we're going to do more of it on your own next time. We're going to do these every week, so you're going to get great at them. So watch the next video on how to take that information that we just wrote on the graphic organizer and turn it into a paragraph. All right, see you later.